Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The following is a Red Apple Podcast Network presentation.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it.
Welcome to Dominic Carter's podcast. This is Dominic Carter's City Hall. Now, here's Dominic Carter.
Red Apple Podcast, Talk Radio 77 WABC. You can listen to me, Dominic Carter, weekday afternoons, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then back again live, weeknights at midnight to 1 a.m. and on Sundays, 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. Justice ultimately prevails. Hero Marine Daniel Penny found not guilty. Vindication. This is my podcast. Let's go. Folks, tune out the noise. Change to another channel. Whoopi Goldberg taking exception that Daniel Penny went to a bar with his lawyers after being found not guilty.
I don't know. I don't know that seeing them celebrating in a bar made me comfortable. You know? I mean, you killed a guy. The man is dead, and maybe you take the celebration home. You don't do it outside. But that's just me. Don't listen to anything I say.
The jury acquitting Penny of criminally negligent homicide after previously deadlocking on the more serious charge of manslaughter, leading the judge to dismiss the manslaughter charge. Even on the lesser count, Penny still faced up to 4 years in prison. After the verdict, Penny talked to Judge Janine Pirro on the Fox News channel, stating he could not live with guilt if Jordan Neely had hurt the subway passengers.
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed.
No one is happy that human life was lost. The life of Jordan Neely, the 30-year-old homeless man with a history of mental illness. The fact of the matter is Neely was no longer the cute Michael Jackson impersonator that performed for pocket change. Neely was terrorizing people and in some cases with brutal force. His rap sheet more than 40 arrests, including for violent assaults. The system tried to scapegoat Daniel Penny for coming to the aid of fellow train riders, including women and children. Yes, I will say it. Unfortunately for Penny, he was a white suspect with an African-American alleged victim, that being the homeless Neely. We may never know what killed Jordan Neely, but we do know it was not at the hands of the hero Marine Daniel Penny, and the jury confirmed that. Keep in mind, Neely was still breathing when police arrived. We don't know if it was the mix of psychiatric medication for Neely being paranoid schizophrenic mixed with the synthetic marijuana K2, and God only knows what it may have been laced with. We don't know if it was Neely's numerous health conditions, but it was not at the hands of this hero Marine. Supporters of Jordan Neely responding immediately after the verdict. But where were they when Neely needed help over the years? Neely's absentee father, who has the cojones to now sue hero Marine Daniel Penny? Listen to what he and others had to say.
He was just threatening to kill people. He was threatening to go to jail forever, go to jail for the rest of his life. And now where I'm on the ground with him, I'm on my back in a very vulnerable position. If I just would have let go, now he turns.
Why is that a vulnerable position?
Well, if I just let him go, I'm on my back now, he can just turn around and start doing what he said to me. So
Killing,
hurting.
And, of course, the racial arsonists that are always looking for a reason, but never finding one to burn down the city. Like this person, Hawk Newsom.
Just like everybody else has vigilantes, we need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
Tired.
I know you're looking for us to be like, oh, go and march. Go and march. No. This weekend, I want you to hold a community event everywhere from the Bronx to Houston to Seattle to Florida. Black people, whole community event, and talk about what you need.
And it goes on and on and on.
Because to be real, they didn't even try. Once the lesser charge was removed, they came back an hour later and said it was deadlock. Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. Damn them and damn America.
And by nightfall, the racial arsonists were looking for a confrontation, protesting, but nobody took the bait.
He was hungry! He was killed for being poor! Shame on you!
This is sick. They don't give a damn about us. I didn't hurt nobody or kill no damn body. But I did more time than that man did for killing somebody. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace.
Diverse Manhattan jury. Why is it? Well, it was 4 people of color. That's known typically as.
I was there during jury selection.
Whether it was
black women were shut out for having unconventional. There were 9 white jurors.
Sorry, is that what they said? They said it was for unconventional hair. Or you're just presuming that
it was unconventional hair.
A juror was dismissed for having unconventional hair.
Unconventional hair.
That's made up.
No, it's not.
Who said?
No, it's not.
Which lawyer said that?
The defense attorney.
Which one? He said what?
He said that she had unconventional hair because her hair was purple, that she would have unconventional thoughts. And that, were you in the courtroom?
No, I was not.
For 7 weeks?
I was not. But I understand.
I was.
But the idea, right? Well, but again, the notion that she's being dismissed because of her hair. I assume you're assuming it's because of her race, right?
It absolutely was about weight.
Right.
Why was the expert jury consultant brought in who got off people for OJ, who had a racial child, who brought in Kyle Rittenhouse, a young man who bought an AR-15 and killed Americans exercising their
What does Kyle
constitutional
Rittenhouse
right.
have to do with this?
Because the jury expert who clearly got off Daniel Penny today, it's the jury
expert. It's not the jurors, right?
Jury expert.
Not the jurors who heard the case, right?
This woman specialized for 35 years in the psychology of juries.
Right.
She specialized in race.
You know how many of those specialists lose their cases?
Well, not this.
A lot of them.
That's why Daniel Penny took the great money of people who hate black people to pay her.
So it had to have been race, right? It's not possible. So here's my theory on this, and it's actually a reverse race thing, which I think you're going to really disagree with, right? Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think this case would have been charged if it had been a white victim and a white person who had held him in a chokehold. I don't even think there'd be charges in this
I think it actually would. And I actually think that you would be calling Daniel Penny a murderer. Have you heard of Nathaniel Terry? A 27-year-old black man. He was an absolute monster in 2021. He killed an unidentified to this day homeless man in the Project staircase. Mm-hmm. Did you see BLM come out for that type of monster? To grant our credibility. Well, when do we come out for cases that are not racially charged, would normally be ignored?
Why is this a race case? Did Daniel Penny say anything racist when it happened?
What is the labeling and the stereotypes? Daniel Penny, when he lied during interrogations, which no one is showing.
But answer my question. When was the race? When did he bring race into this?
A crackhead. And he said he was doing crackhead things. The problem is Daniel Penny showed no remorse for nothing he did. And that dishonors the real service people of this country, the real Marines who don't lie, who care for others, and who do no harm.
This is a case that should have never been brought to begin with. And it falls directly in the lap of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Megyn Kelly on her podcast, Ripping the DA, a new one.
That thug, Alvin Bragg, brought these charges where they never should have been brought. And then as his case was falling apart on Friday, you remember we had Maureen here, Callahan, he refused to accept a mistrial when the jury was hung. They were hung on the most serious charge that had been brought against Daniel Penny, accused of killing Jordan Neely, just a Michael Jackson impersonator on the subway. No, that's not what happened. Jordan Neely got on that subway and was menacing, seriously threatening the other passengers. They were terrified, and they testified to exactly that in front of this jury. They never should have brought the case, but Bragg charged reckless homicide against Daniel Penny, which is a very serious charge. It's manslaughter. And the jury could not reach a verdict on it. The next rung down was criminally negligent homicide, which is a lower burden, right? Recklessness is worse than negligence. Recklessness is you see the risk and you recklessly disregard it. Negligent is you were negligent in failing to see the risk. But Bragg only charged that top charge to try to get to a compromise verdict on negligent homicide. He knew he didn't have Daniel Penny on recklessness. That disgusting thug. Again, he did this to Trump, and now he did this to Daniel Penny, and now finally a jury has given him the double-barrel bird of F off. Alvin Bragg, stop doing this. He won with his first jury with Trump, as you know, but the American people overruled him. So now the jury was sent back to go deliberate on the serious but less serious charge of criminally negligent homicide. And that's where they were told to resume this morning at 9 a.m. And Alvin Bragg's play was that once they couldn't get to a verdict on the most serious one, in his mind, I think he thought they'd been in the jury room and they'd say, okay, his best case scenario was they'd go along with him on that one. His next best was they won't go along with me on that and they'll acquit on that one. But as a compromise verdict, they'll go for the negligent homicide. What happened on Friday was they couldn't reach a verdict on the most serious charge. And that's the point at which the defense lawyer asked for a mistrial. And that request should have been granted. That's what should have happened.
Podcaster Megyn Kelly. District Attorney Alvin Bragg, after all, could have followed in the footsteps of his Brooklyn counterpart, Eric Gonzalez. A shooting on a crowded subway car in Brooklyn, March 14th. And the district attorney did not charge the man because of self-defense. And the suspect in this case, the man that was shot, died. we close where we started. Judge Janine Pirro talking to Hero Marine Daniel Penny.
You go from a hero to a villain when they say they're going to indict you.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
You know, obviously it's pretty nerve-wracking. It was very anxiety-inducing. Mm-hmm. But throughout this whole process, I would remind myself of the witnesses coming up to thank me. And really, no matter what outcome the trial had, I only cared about what the witnesses said about the situation. And I only cared about their opinions.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
There's a lot of pressure to wear the right clothes for every situation, but the clothes don't make the man. With Mack Weldon, you can build a wardrobe that looks polished in any setting and tells the world you stay you wherever you go. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MACK25. That's MackWeldon.com. Promo code MACK25.
And that is all the time we have for this episode. You can listen to me, Dominic Carter, weekday afternoons, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then back again live, midnight to 1 a.m., and on Sundays, 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. Happy holidays to all of you folks. Red Apple Podcast, Talk Radio 77, WABC.
I gotta make it.
Dominic Carter Socials on Twitter at Dominic TV and Facebook and Instagram. Dominic Carter TV. Email at dominic.carter@wabcradio.com. Until the next episode, be well. And as Dominic always says, stay positive. The glass is always half full, never half empty. Dominic Carter City Hall.